Today I have a short but interesting video. As a Dragon's Dogma player, it isn't out of the ordinary to use some skills with unique sounding names. But have you ever wondered what they mean? Do they even have any meaning? Well, today I'm going to answer that by going over the names of some skills, what they mean, and go over any other interesting facts and trivia I can pull from them. I do want to pay special attention to the magic skills as they have a lot of meaning when you look at their names. So those are what we will be starting with. And then I'll cover any skills that have interesting meanings or possible references. Magic. Bartizan. Bartizan is a skill on Magic Archer, in which the caster chooses an ally to protect with their magical arrow. The name for Bartizan is very fitting as well, as a Bartizan in real life was this section of a castle. It was a defensive position that allowed archers good vantage points over the castle wall. Flagration, Levin, and Frigor are the three main elemental spells for Mage, and each one of them uses a noun from the past to base their names on, those being Flagrate, the Latin word for burn, Levin, which is an old way of saying lightning in the 13th century, and Frigor, which is the Latin word for cold or chill. There's also a spell in Harry Potter known as Flagrate that allows the caster to leave a fiery trail in the air. Haggle. Haggle is a spell that casts a small blizzard around the target. Haggle doesn't actually mean blizzard, but is actually another word for hail. Unto Heaven.
Looks like the rocket's busting open again!
This 100% isn't what the move is based on, but I just couldn't help myself. Sagittate Downpour. Sagittate Downpour is a skill on Magic Archer that fires a large number of magical arrows. The word Sagittate actually just means arrowhead shaped, and is actually how the astrological sign Sagittarius got its name. Palladium. Palladium is a spell that offers protection from attacks. The name Palladium comes from the Greek goddess Athena, also known as Pallas. A statue in Greek mythology known as the Palladium also stood in the city of Troy and was a symbol of protection over the city. Lyncian Sight. Okay, so technically this one isn't magic, but I just wanted to include it anyways. Lyncian Sight is a skill that allows you to zoom in with your bow on Archer. The name is a reference to Lynceus, a figure in Greek mythology who had incredible sight, and used it to his advantage as a lookout on the Argo, a Greek ship. Okay, and those were all the magic skills that I found interesting. Now we can move on to the three referential skills I found, or seemingly referential for the first two at least. References. Ravening Lunge. It's never outright said anywhere, but Ravening Lunge always struck me as familiar. And it may be because it could be inspired by this scene from Berserk. We know that the developers of Dragon's Dogma were aware of and most likely interested in Berserk due to the crossover sets in DD1 and DDO, and the entire Warrior Vocation as a whole, so it's not a stretch to assume this move might be based on it. Easy Kill. And to bring another potential reference from an IP that also heavily influenced Dragon's Dogma, we would have the Easy Kill skill being a pretty close match to the move Legolas performed on Bolg and the Hobbit. I've noticed many more similarities to the Lord of the Rings movies as well. If anyone would be interested in a video going over those, just let me know in the comments. Bump and Lift. And for the final reference, we have a pretty cool one. The Bump and Lift core skill allows the user to potentially steal an item from an enemy that Carve connects with. The name Bump and Lift is actually a technique employed by real thieves around the world. Basically, it's about causing a distraction to the target. Most commonly this is done by bumping into someone, and then while they are distracted you can pickpocket them, as it's harder to notice someone taking things from you when you are jostled. And lift is just another word for stealing from someone, so that's how the term got its name. Bump, as in bump into someone, and lift, as in to steal shortly after. And finally, I just want to go over some skill names that weren't significant enough for their own section, but I wanted to mention anyways. Empyrean, relating to heaven or the sky. Seisism, noun meaning the shaking of the surface of the earth. Soporific, just a fancy word for saying something that induces drowsiness. Halidom, having to do with holiness, comes from the Old English word haligadum. Draw and quarter, to disembowel someone/something while they are alive. Then they are severed into 4 pieces, usually by tying a horse to each limb and pulling. Celerity, swiftness of movement, literal definition. And there you go, many skills that held secrets I hadn't even known. It's always just 1 or 2 things that lead me down a rabbit hole of interesting facts and details, but even if they're small, I can't help but be intrigued, and hopefully you feel that way too. But with that, I shall cast a spell, Effugium, or Escape.
Bye-bye.